What's going on, Charles Botenston? Just going to do a really quick review on the 5 Minute Journal. And this is something that I've been looking for something because Grant Cardone, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, mentioned that he writes down his goals 3 times a day. 3 times a day. And at the time, I wasn't writing it down at all. I was thinking about it. I don't even think I even had it in electronic form, in other words, on my computer or anywhere. And I was already like 5 years into self-development, so it was kind of weird that I knew what I wanted to do, but that's nothing. Having it in your mind is nothing. You have to visualize it, you have to write it down, and it's more likely to come true, and it's more likely to come true faster. And obviously, one of the biggest things that with, if you want to just go into the law of attraction really quick, is that when you write it down, what I've noticed is that you start listening for it. Obviously, they have the RAS, which is the reticular activating system, which you buy a red Ferrari, you start seeing red Ferraris everywhere. You start talking about a real estate business, you start hearing real estate, or you start hearing businesses, people that are entrepreneurs, and you start talking with them and things like that. It's one of those things that, yes, you attract it into your life, but your mind starts becoming aware of it. And that's really the biggest benefit. There's actually I'll go into the benefits and then I'll obviously talk about the book itself. So I've been probably 30 days in, and like I said, I was on no kind of journal. I think I did start, and then I started actually something. This was from Jack Canfield. I got this at one of his seminars, which is his Breakthrough to Success, BTS, in Arizona. It's a week long. Highly recommend it. It's a little pricey. I think it's around $5,000, $6,000, but it's definitely worth it. And Jack Canfield's one of the original guys. He came out with, he's been around. He wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. Him and Mark Victor Hansen, they wrote The Success Principles. I think actually Jack Canfield, he did that by himself. But The Success Principles, you have to read it. It's kind of one of those classics like Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Dr. Susan Jeffers, which is, what really started me on my self-dev, if you want to call it that, self-development journey. And obviously, the older classics, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and Think and Grow Rich, things like that. But Jack Canfield, him, Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, they've been around for a while, and they all talk about writing on your goals. Obviously, in today's digital, and I'm huge into technology, I'm all about cloud-based, mobile, high-speed. How do we automate? How do we have systems? How do we have processes to make my life easier? And I just never got into writing it. I got into it, but it was never a habit. And I heard about it on Ben Greenfield's podcast. And Ben Greenfield, essentially, he's a hack, a body hack. In other words, he's always looking to get better with your own life. In other words, he knows some pretty crazy things, and he kind of wears the propeller hat and the aluminum tin can hat, but I love it. He's always about trying to elongate your age, build up your energy, your enthusiasm, your everything. So I heard about it on his podcast, and one of the people that he was interviewing brought it up, and they said, hey, listen, why don't you get the 5 Minute Journal? I looked up a couple of reviews. They're all right. But then I went on Amazon, I checked it out, and I was like, wow. I was like, these are some really good reviews. Obviously, you have people that say, you write down the same thing. Well, if you're looking to make $50 million, I was talking to a guy yesterday, and his brother's looking to make around $50 million. I think it's good, but I live in New York City, and, actually, I'm at my parents' house right now for the weekend. It's good to get out every once in a while. But $50 million, it's good. Honestly, to have a private jet and the mansions and the huge businesses that I want to build, I think $50 million, to be honest, is about half of what I want, if not, a quarter or even less of what I eventually want. I don't even know how I got on that subject. But essentially, all these successful guys like Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, they're worth probably $100 million. Maybe not 100. I don't know. They probably are up there. And they all talk about writing it down. So finally, I said, okay, you know what? I was going back to one of the negative reviews is the guy he's like, I keep on writing down the same goals every single day, and it's just repetitive and da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, dude, because if you want a huge goal, like be the number one in your industry, it's not going to be overnight. You're going to have to continuously every single day. Elon Musk, he's not like, well, I'm going to take a rocket to Mars and I'm going to live there. That's where I'm going to retire. Yeah, that's 2030, 2025. We're about 10 years away from that, 15 years away from that. You think Elon's like, well, I'm going to stop writing it down or stop thinking about my goals. So, bought the book, and I'll tell you about the benefits up front. The benefits, number one, is, so there's two sections. There's the morning section, and I'll hold it up so you have a good idea on, obviously, so you have the top part right here. There's 3 parts in the morning. And it's all part of my morning routine. And the first part is what you're grateful for. So the actual top part, you have a quote, and that's obviously every single day. Pablo Picasso's on this day. I'm always doing that which I cannot do. Very good. I am always doing that which I cannot do in order that I may learn how to do it. So he's doing things that he doesn't know how to do so he can learn how to do it. That's actually a really good quote. That's sometime in the future that I'm going to come on to this page. So the first part, obviously, you have a quote, you have the date, and then 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things that will make today great, and daily affirmations, and it says, I am whatever you are, whatever you want to be. I write down things like bold, persistent, authentic, natural, consistent, and then I go into some of my goals. I write down my goals as well. Whatever I want to do at the current time, long term as well, maybe even next year. But what would make today great? That's really good and powerful for me because that I've heard about it so many times. Visualize your day going great, and you're thinking about it. You're like, visualize my day going great. Okay, well, what do I want to do today? Boom. Okay, well, that's where you write it. And then right above that, what I'm grateful for. I think this is one of the biggest things that I talk about on my channel so much is you have to be grateful, man and lady. There's too many people just not walking around in gratitude. The smallest things, like your heart beating right now, you breathing. Tony Robbins talks about it, the heart that you didn't earn or you're blessed with. You didn't, it was given to you. And we just take it for granted. Your heart or your breath, your blood, your eyesight, maybe your hearing, or if you lack that, you're still alive. You still have your health or your family, your friends. Water, food, clean food and water, sanitary conditions to be living in. Small things. That's what I think of. Honestly, so I write it down. A lot of it has to do with my family and personal life. And then when I visualize it, so right after that I go and I close my eyes and I do a visualization process, and I actually include what I'm grateful for, and it could be the smallest things. My health, that the vitality in my body, the aliveness that I feel, the chair I'm sitting on, the hearing that I can hear things like my AC because it's the summer and it's hot. But things like that. Then daily affirmations. This is the really amazing part. I forgot where I heard this. It might have been Brian Tracy, where he said, at the end of every day, go in and actually take an accountability. What did I do and what did I not do? And I was like, wow, that's really good, because you go day after day. In the morning, you can be completely prepared, but you don't have any compatibility. This freaking hair, whatever, we'll just put it like that. You have no compatibility at the end of the day. And I've written it so many times in my calendar to actually say at 5 o'clock at the end of the day, or 6 o'clock or whatever, the end of the day, I'm going to actually write down exactly what went right and what went wrong. And ironically enough, they have that. And that's, so I come home from work, and then the top part, hopefully you can see it. Actually, I should put it on this side. The top part, which is 3 things that went great today. And then the bottom part, which is what would I improve? And you do that every single day. And one thing that I added, and I hope the authors actually add to it, the bottom part here, I just write a rating from 1 to 100. And you know what I've noticed? This is funny. One of the benefits is that my rating has gone up since doing this. In other words, when I first started, my rating was like 35 or 40. Granted, I have very high standards. I got to make my prospecting calls. I'm really good with the gym, eating well. That's part of it, and obviously getting appointments and everything else. But I rate myself, and since then, I've had like a week in a row where it's been above 50, and that extra 15 points is massive. That's extra money, that's extra appointments, that's things that I know in the future that's going to bring me what I want, my goals, that I'm writing down in the book. I highly recommend. getting this. I know this is a 10-minute review on a 5-minute journal. To be honest, it's not really 5 minutes unless you go through it really quick, but I definitely highly recommend getting this. The biggest thing, I definitely highly recommend getting this. Obviously, the link is below. It's affiliated with Amazon. If you want, it's like a couple pennies if you buy it through me. I know when I bought it through Ben Greenfield, because he was so gracious to do a review on it, I had no, of course not. I like giving people money from the affiliated. If you feel this was helpful, awesome. If not, go to Amazon. I do want you to pick it up though, because I do see a direct correlation from me doing this and then me continuing to do things in my day, like going to the gym, eating right, prospecting, going on I'm in real estate, prospecting, going on appointments, closing the deals, and having the accountability at the end of the day. So pick up the book. And the last thing I want to say is I posted it to Instagram probably, because I do this very early in the morning. I do this from 5 to 5:10, and then 5:10 to 5:20. I visualize 5:20 to 5:30. I have a rebounder right here, actually behind me. A rebounder is like a mini trampoline, blah, blah, blah. And then I go to the gym at 5:30, and I do the exact same routine every single day. But I put it on Instagram, and I had probably 3 or 4 of my friends say, or other random people, not random, but people that follow my stuff, and they said, I'm definitely picking this up. And they said, what's the advice on it? The book is very self-explanatory. However, the biggest piece of advice on it is that you have to do it every single day. You have to do it every single day. And that was the issue about all the other times that I had these morning rituals, is that I didn't do it every single day. When you start with this, you're more likely to do a positive thing right after this, like go to the gym or visualize or meditate or eat healthy or have oatmeal instead of cereal or whatever, or prospect or look for business or walk or run or whatever. But when you start with this, you have to do it consistently. You have to do it every single day. I literally do it every single day. Today's a Saturday. I've done it, I think, I have an app on my phone called Streaks. I was looking around for my phone. It's actually right in front of me. That's how I'm filming this. But I use an app called Streaks, and I think it's like $2 or $3. Unbelievable app. And you put in 6 things. Is it Streaks? I think it's Streaks. And you put in 6 things, max 6 things that you want to do. And you could do just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, or just weekends or whatever. And you put in the app, and I've done it every single day. So I highly recommend picking it up. The link is below. Ask me any questions, and I will. This is it. Actually, this is really funny. I just saw this in the beginning. It said, "If found, this is where you send it, and here's the reward." They have some personal things in here, so if someone found it, I think it's more than the reward, because it shows what I want to do. All right, have an awesome day. Subscribe to the videos. Ask any questions below. I'll talk to you guys soon.